Hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great Minds podcast. My name is Uri Gillespie. I am a philosopher,
And I'm Michael.
and we are here to do episode 6 for you. Today, we are going to be talking about just some kind of general information about the Strait of Hormuz and Kharg Island in Iran, everything that's going on with that. And then we are going to be talking about this week's deadly sin of the seven deadly sins because we've been doing that in a series. We're going to be talking about sloth this week. And we will be asking today's question of the day, which is why do we sleep? Getting a little more physiological and a little less psychological on here. Some content for you. Hold on a second. All right. So
You're
just
really
to,
loud now.
I'm really loud now.
Yes, you're loud.
Oh, okay. I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing. Um, But anyways, before we start, I would like to take a moment to talk about to kind of do an ad read for some of the sister channels to this. So this right here is my own personal channel, Uri Gillespie. My main channel where I mostly make content is called Afro X. You can find that. Um, Either in the connected channels on here, or if you put in Afro X anime, it's usually the top result, or one of my videos is the top result. Um, but yeah, if you could go there, check that out, subscribe to it. We're only 9 subs away from 600 subscribers, so I'm very, very excited about that. Um, go into that. If you would like to donate to me and any of the channels that I make, you can go to www.patreon.com/AfroX. And there you can sign up to donate in increments of 5, 10, 30, 50, or $100 a month with certain benefits that go along with that, ranging all the way from getting your name shown at the end of an AfroX video all the way to, if you donate $100, I will let you come on to every stream that I do and do a 5-minute plug of your own content. And there are tons of benefits in between there for each tier. So that is the Patreon. So if you're into anime, check out AfroX. If you're into the video game Dead by Daylight, you can check out my channel called Terror Time 666. And that is the official title of it. The main title is just Terror Time. And I do killer content on there for Dead by Daylight. So there is that. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers my main channels. I mean, I do have Afro the Sniper, which is the channel for my PlayStation, but I haven't uploaded on there in a long time, and I just do like different video game stuff on there. But yeah, so that is the ad read. So let's start off. So, what is the Strait of Hormuz and what is Kharg Island? So, pretty much the Strait of Hormuz is a strait that it's a patch of water near Iran that is it's pretty much like there is an island and then there is the mainland and there's a little thin stretch of water in between that kind of goes around a bend. And this is the point, one point in the world. There are many points, but this is one point in the world. Wow, I sounded so like Trump right there. But this is one main point in the world where a lot of the world's oil goes through. And as you know, the Middle East is famously known for having copious amounts of oil. Now, a lot of that oil comes from Kharg Island. In Iran, Kharg Island is a very big source of oil, and so when oil goes out from Iran, it has to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And that's and therein kind of lies the problem for us, which is that right now, due to Donald Trump's ill-advised war with Iran, there's a lot of arguments over what is going on with the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is saying they don't want to have it open, and that is an effort to put a squeeze on America, because they know that if they don't let American ships come in and get oil, that will it will become like a strained resource, and that will raise the gas prices, which is exactly what is happening right now. Also, some tactics that they've been using is they have been putting underwater landmines in there in order to destroy ships and submarines.
You mean sea mines? They would not be land mines.
Yeah, not landmines, sea mines. They've been putting sea mines. And so that has been some difficulty there. And then also I think Trump has also been like, we're also putting like military ships near there. And it's kind of just a great big kerfuffle and a war zone there. And nobody can really come to an agreement on what is happening. And so because of the Strait of Hormuz being kind of locked down at the moment, I don't understand Trump's reasoning, but he's like, well, we should attack Kharg Island. He thinks we should attack Kharg Island because although I question why would it be a good idea to, if we're already not getting oil, why would it be a good idea to attack the source of all the oil? I don't understand that.
Probably he's just doing if we can't have it, then neither can you.
Yeah. But I mean, if he does do an attack on Kharg Island and it messes up all the oil and stuff, then that also hurts the rest of the world. And I realize that Trump doesn't really think about the ramifications of his actions, but if he affected the cost of oil and gas across the entire world, that would make a lot of countries really, really mad at America.
He already has affected the cost of oil and gas across the world. So,
well, yeah.
It would just do it even more.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a little bit of the information on Kharg Island and the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
That was kind of more of an informational short bit there. So I guess so Mike, did you have anything to say about any of that?
I don't know. I don't have too much to add to it. I don't know the strategy here. I haven't researched it a whole lot, enough to know. I know that just, the general facts. So nothing to add, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, if there is nothing more to add, then we will move on because we got two really big topics today. Starting off, we are talking this week. We're talking about the Deadly Sin of Sloth. So just a recap for anyone who hasn't been watching in the past 2 to 3 weeks. The 7 deadly sins were created by I think we said 8th century. Was it 8th century monk?
I believe so.
Yeah. A century monk named
Fourth century, sorry.
4th century monk named Evagrius Ponticus.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I did get that name right. And they were first invented by him, and then they were further refined by Pope Gregory. And so we have already gone over, we've talked about pride, or we started with greed. We talked about greed, pride, um, gluttony, lust. Now we are talking about sloth.
Hmm.
And I actually thought we only had one more. We actually have two more. We still have wrath and envy.
Okay, that means this is episode 5.
No, because I think we didn't talk about a deadly sin in the first one.
Oh, alrighty
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Um, so today we are talking about sloth. So, um, in classical theology and Catholic teachings, the deadly sin of sloth goes beyond mere physical laziness. It is defined as spiritual apathy, a state of listlessness, and the habitual refusal to engage with God, others, or one's life's purpose. And the Latin word for sloth is acedia. Um, and comes from a term that means carelessness or lack of caring. Um, so yeah, as it says, this is more than just being lazy. This is um, pretty much apathy. This is getting up in the morning and not getting out of bed simply because you don't want to. You have no will to um,
Hmm.
to keep going. Uh, you just don't want to move forward. Which I will admit, I don't talk about my emotions with a lot of people on a regular basis because I live alone. But there has been a couple of days in the past couple of weeks that I have woken up with an overwhelming feeling of not wanting to move forward. And I just have to power through, and I have to like shrug that off and like get going and stuff like that. Um, but that's been stuff that I have struggled with. Now, the punishment for sloth in Dante's Inferno, in Dante's Inferno specifically, there is no punishment for sloth, but it does say that the slothful who were consumed by sullenness and spiritual apathy are submerged completely beneath the swamp water of the river Styx. Um, and For an eternity of stillness and suffocation, they are trapped in the murk, unable to speak or act, forced to choke out their eternal sighs, which bubble to the surface as muddy complaints. In Dante's Purgatorio, though, on the fourth terrace of Purgatory, the repentant souls who were slothful in life are punished through continuous, exhausting physical action to purge their previous lack of diligence. They are forced to run tirelessly around the mountain terrace, shouting out loud examples of zeal and historical instances of swift diligence. So that is the nice punishment. Now, the punishment for sloth in the Japanese hells, forced physical work. So, like, every punishment for sloth is like you got to do more work. In the hell of measures, those who are lazy or cheated on weights are forced to carry burning iron pieces to constantly measure them. Constant running in some lesser hells, sinners are chased by demonic wardens or animals, ensuring that those who refuse to act in life are given no rest in death. In the hell of black threads, demons draw lines on the sinners' bodies and saw them into pieces according to the markings. And in the crushing hell, iron mountains continuously smash the slothful and wicked into paste, only to instantly bring them back to life to suffer again. So, again, don't go to the Japanese hell. if if you have the option. I know last week I said pray for Dante's hell, and you were like, you're gonna pray to go to hell. But yeah, you don't want the
Yeah.
Japanese house.
No. Although you gotta be careful. You watch all the anime. You might gotta be tipping the scales back to the west a little here.
That is true. That is true. So yeah. Uh Mike, have you had any instances where you've known yourself to be slothful?
Oh yeah. I've had plenty of times. Yeah, I've struggled with it a lot, you know. I think it comes through as like depression and stuff and just yeah, the apathy and not wanting to persist. It's hard to say like just feeling that way I don't think is necessarily what the problem is, but I do think there's a sense of like wallowing in it and not moving on as quickly as you could because you're hanging on to it, which you don't even necessarily know that you're doing, you know.
Yep.
So I think that definitely is probably where it becomes sloth more is just
Choosing to
'cause
remain in it.
everyone is going to feel apathetic, you know. I think you can't escape it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna be in this world and for any amount of time, like you're gonna just not feel like it sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's balanced too, because like sometimes not doing things is okay, you know. But I
Mm-hmm.
think not that the whole point of just not engaging and not caring about because it sounded like from the description you read, it's to the degree of not even caring about like you know what's good, but you won't even engage in it just because you just don't even have the energy to and stuff, you
Yeah.
know. And
Or
I
when
guess
you
I can't say. Sorry, keep going.
or
Or
when
when
you
you,
like know what is the right thing to do, but you like refuse to do it anyway because you just are that like not caring.
yeah, exactly. Like you know, but you won't. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have the energy
Like
to
if
deal with
you
it.
like if you saw a kid running into traffic while you were sitting on your porch and you're like, eh, it's one kid in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like definitely, I've been there and done that. Um, and I think it's like
Evil
it's one of
triumphs when
those.
good men do nothing.
Yeah, but it's another one of those things too, where I think it might be a symptom of just thinking about yourself too much sometimes and not this is coming from my own observations of when I've been there more than reflecting on others,
Yeah.
but like just uh what I lost my train of thought. What did I just say? I'm sorry.
You were about to tell me what you're eating.
Oh, I've been eating jalapeno pistachios.
Oh,
I can't really see
couldn't
it. I'm not trying to plug the brand anyways.
couldn't be
It's just the
me.
brand.
Could
They're
not be
not
me.
that
I
hot.
don't like
It's
it.
more the pepper flavor than the hot flavor.
No, I don't like
I was a
anything
little
spicy.
disappointed. I love spicy and I wanted more from these, but that's okay. I still like the flavor. So
Wow.
I'm sorry. Take me back to where we were though before that.
We were talking about um like sloth being more like choosing to remain in apathy and being apathetic when you know what is the right thing to do and when you
Yeah, I
can
was
act.
going somewhere with an example for me, but I think I guess I never really. I've definitely had times where I just haven't done what's best for myself or engaged as much as I should have or could have just because I didn't feel like it. And I feel like when it really comes to it, I don't think I've ever gotten to a point where I just absolutely let something terrible happen because I just didn't feel like engaging, you know. Usually it's more of like a self-destructive thing than it is me others keep becoming harmed.
I
I
agree.
just
Um, I like. I'd say the biggest place I have a CDA or a sloth is in in self discipline. Every day that like I get up, or every Monday that I get up, and I'm like, you know what, I should get back to the gym this week. And then I try to get a friend to go with me, and they're like, "Nah, I don't really want to go." And then that completely like kills my motivation to go. And then even though I'm all ready to go, I'm just like, I'm not going to go because I don't have anyone to do it with. And then I don't, and
Mhm.
that's really cheating me out of the benefit.
Yeah, I think that word should is a dangerous word too, you know, because like saying you should go, you got to basically just say you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because saying you should go is just telling yourself what you think the right thing to do is. It's not and actually saying you're going to.
Yeah. When I did start working out, like probably about half a year ago, I did get on a real kick of starting to work out, and what helped me was to pretend like I had always done it.
Mhm.
To tell myself, you always work out on Mondays, and you always have, and this is just part of your regular routine. Um,
Yeah.
and then I started slipping, and the holidays started being on Mondays, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just take this Monday off. And once you start slipping, it all goes downhill.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And just even other times, like there have just been opportunities I've had where I guess not anything specific, but there's just times in my life where it's like the thing that I could have gotten would have been good, but I didn't want to go through the work to get it, so I just didn't even do it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that where you just kind of deny yourself opportunities because of the not you know, yeah, lack of discipline and not wanting to relax instead of do something. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. Um,
hi kitty, say hello. Yeah, you just want food.
I'm trying to. It's a cute cat.
Thanks.
What's your cat's name?
Her name, I actually got her from somebody else, so you might recognize it, but her name is LCL. You know
LCL.
where that's from? I think you probably
From what?
you know what it's from. It's from an anime. I did not name her. I got her from.
Is it from Black Butler?
No, it's from The Devil is a Part Timer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I figured you
Um,
would. Once I
no,
told you, you'd know.
no, I loved that anime. And
You know what's funny is, oh, sorry,
a-
keep going.
after the first season, I said it was like number one on my animes that needed a second season, and then they made a second season, and the second season just sucked.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's all right. Like,
that's too bad.
it's funny because my phone just went, well, it's all right. Like,
Good timing.
yeah.
No, I had gotten her from a friend who told me that her name was from an anime, but didn't tell me which one. And you actually showed me The Devil's a Part Timer, and then I saw that, and that's how I figured out what anime her name was from. So,
Funny. But yeah, back on subject. What are just trying to think of what are some examples of slothful people in society or in or in the world? Um,
uh, would there
Surprisingly enough,
be
I wouldn't say Donald Trump is slothful.
no?
Yeah.
His thing isn't inaction.
Yeah. It's wrong action.
Are there people who are like in I don't know what you want to call it, like pop culture or politics or whatever fame that are slothful, or is that not really, are the
I
slothful people not even making it to that level?
I mean, I think there's some great examples. Like I honestly I think um I think that anyone who makes a one-hit wonder in music and then just stops putting out music kind of like there is kind of a little slothful. Like
We're looking
sure,
at you, goatee. Sorry,
me
keep going.
me
No, goatee, the band.
oh Gautier.
Gautier, thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Gautier.
We're
Yeah,
looking
no,
at you,
no,
Gautier.
literally Gautier. Gautier put out somebody I used to know, and then just became
And then
somebody I
just
used to know.
disappeared. Uh-huh.
Yeah, became somebody I used to know.
Yep.
Yeah,
So there you go. Sloth.
or yeah, and I mean, LMFAO is another great example. Although they made like one album, and then Party Rock Anthem was like Song of the Summer in like 2010, I think it was. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, they were just like, we can coast on money forever. So that, yeah, those kind of people. There's some actors, but I will say most actors aren't really slothful, because I mean, if you're in one movie, you're typically in like 3 to 5 other movies.
And acting, I mean, that's a full day. You're very engaged in that. I would, from what I can tell. So
True.
it's not very thoughtful. But
People
I
who
guess
got 5 minutes of fame on YouTube.
but also like,
Hawk to a girl.
okay, 5 minutes of fame, like she never stopped trying though. So it wasn't again a lack of trying. It was just that her thing was lightning in a bottle and she can't keep catching that. So
True.
that's not
True.
really laziness, is it's not applying the proper formulas
True.
or actually being maybe
Yeah.
more than a one trick pony. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know much about
Well,
her beyond
Gautier.
that clip anyways.
We can both
Yeah.
agree with Gautier.
Honestly, he might have nailed the formula though. The only
Right.
thing you put out just becomes that big, and then you're just like, all right, peace, everyone.
Yep.
So again, is it sloth or is it like a very well executed performance art?
No, that is true. That reminds me, I back when I worked at Cub Foods, there was a plaque on my boss's desk, and it said, "Of course, I don't look busy. I did it right the first time."
I like that.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so also are all of your, do you have to be slothful in all of your actions? It could just be some. Like,
True.
in what ways are people being completely apathetic to things that matter in the mainstream? You could look at lots of people who you disagree with or whatever, the opposite political stuff, or anybody that's still going along with Trump, and if you think that that stuff is extremely unethical and there's just being apathetic to it and going along with it because it's their party, you could say that
Yeah.
perhaps.
I will say a lot of apathy in that sense comes from desensitization. So many like sensational news stories have yelled at us that like everything is bad. That like we if we see something truly horrifying nowadays, we're just like, that's the 2020s for you.
Yeah, but apathy is apathy regardless of how you get there. Like, if you don't care, you don't care, whether it's because you're burnt out or like, I don't know, is that any worse than other methods of becoming apathetic? I think
Um, I think it's an equally viable. So I mean, we've got depression and we've got desensitization as sources of apathy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to think about.
It could also be that you just uh like if things didn't go the way you expected multiple times, if you get burned, if you have big plans for something or you have great intentions and you try something, and especially if you try multiple times and it falls apart every time, you can get very bitter to that.
The
So that
adage
could,
of why do I even try?
yeah, exactly. I've had
Yeah.
plenty of that kind of apathy too, where it just, or yeah, I'm just like, man, why am I even gonna try to get anywhere? Or like, in the face of difficult situations, sometimes you just want to be like, nah, just give up. I'm done. Like, I don't want to keep going.
Throw in the towel.
Yeah, yeah. So, but again, like I've just had the thoughts, and then usually I do end up keep going also. So, but
No.
I understand where that comes from. So there's plenty of sources for it. It's usually hurt though. It's not, you're not usually doing so good that you're just like, nah.
Unless
You
you're
could though
Gautier.
too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, that seems like a natural end to the subject of sloth. Let's move on to our question of the day. Mike, what is our question of the day?
Why do we sleep, right?
Why do we sleep? Indeed, is the QOTD.
We always just have such easy questions that science has definitive answers to, and we can just give you a short, sweet.
Right. So here's our question of the day. Why do we sleep? Now, I do want to preface this, and I will say this at the end as well, that everything that me and Mike are about to say are general ideas and theories. Science does not actually have a
Yeah,
concrete answer for why we sleep.
we don't really know.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Mike, could I go ahead and give my reasoning as to why we sleep?
Go right ahead.
Okay. So one interesting thing that I've actually learned, and surprisingly from a source that you wouldn't think, is I learned from anime, is that the expulsion of energy in doing any physical tasks will in some way aid you. If you are expending energy, you are burning your fuse a little bit faster on your way to death. And so what we know is that human bodies are machines, and they are machines that stay running for a good, like, on average, current day, they stay running for a good 75 to 85 years, maybe even 90 tops. And 100 if you're very lucky or unlucky, depending on how you feel about life at that point. But anyways, they're machines that continuously run. They are perpetual motion machines. And because of that, no machine that we know of can ever continuously run and not eventually break down at some point. Eventually, all machines that run will break down, or some part of them will break down and need to be replaced. And so I think that we sleep because sleep, in essence, lets our bodies kind of turn off some systems so that we can have pauses in constantly running. I mean, some parts of us are always constantly running, like our brains and our hearts. But like, it gives the body a break in between constantly running. It's kind of like what I do with my PS4 and PS5. every night, so during the day, I have my PS5 on. I play my video games, I watch videos on it, things like that. At night, I turn it off and I let I watch videos during the night on my PS4 so that my PS5 doesn't burn out too quickly. I'm trying to like make its life really last, and that's the same thing with our bodies. Sleeping is giving us a break so that in the long run, our bodies can continuously run and not break down as fast over a long period of time. I do think that if we didn't sleep, that we would die much earlier in life. And
Yeah,
I feel like
think you're
Mike, you
right.
had something to say.
I would. I guess
Were
I
you
was
putting
just
up a
gonna
hand or
say
something?
I was not, but I will. I guess add. I did have the thought, but I wasn't raising my hand. I was just doing stuff.
Hmm.
But I guess the difference between us and like a mechanism or a machine is when you turn off a machine, you're cutting off its power supply normally. And so you're just not putting hours on the machine anymore. Whereas with a human, you're not really cutting off the power supply. You're just not using your, muscles and stuff.
Like a rest mode.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a standby than it is a shutdown.
Yeah.
So that was all I was going to add. Carry on.
Yeah. Like currently I'm somewhat dormant, but I'm still ready whenever a danger or emergency presents itself.
I mean, you're
Um,
alert and aware, whereas you're not when you're asleep, or at least your awareness is not presently in your current, like your body and in your senses.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that personally is why I think we sleep just for energy. Um, and actually, if you're interested, where I got the thought from that in anime is the fact that in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku dies defeating Cell. He teleports Cell to King Kai's planet, blows it up, he dies. Um, and when Majin Buu comes around, the Earth needs someone to fight Majin Buu, or Majin Buu is just going to destroy the entire planet. And so King Kai allows Goku to go back to Earth, but he only has 30 days. Um, and so this time limit is put on him of 30 days. But when Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 3, right after he transformed into Super Saiyan 3, like probably half a day later, he has to go back to King Kai's planet. And that's really only after spending about a week there. And so that's where I got kind of the idea that expending energy will speed up or will expending large amounts of energy will greatly reduce the amount of time you naturally have left. And actually, this is thank you. And actually, this is shown in like other anime too. Like when Luffy uses Gear Fifth, he can only be in Gear Fifth for a certain amount of time, and when he goes out of it, he has like this old man haggard form to show like what the form is actually doing to him, and that's like showing how much energy he's expended. In Naruto, there's the concept of chakra, and if you run out of chakra, you literally die. And so you have to keep like you have to keep like a knowledge of how much chakra you have so that you don't die by overdoing ninjutsu. And so yeah, like in all of anime, and those are just like the top the big three. But in all anime, there is the concept of that if you expend too much physical or spiritual energy, it will have a negative consequence on your, or if you expend too much physical or spiritual energy, it will have a negative effect on your lifespan and your physical body. Which I think is really, really cool. But yeah, if any of the last 5 minutes sounded interesting to you, go check out Afro X immediately, or after this podcast. But yeah, that's kind of just where I got the idea from. Did you have anything to say, Mike, or am I good to go in why we dream?
I mean, I had stuff to say, so we got time though. But I mean, do you want to jump right into the dream stuff and I can say my stuff, or do you want me to say my stuff and then you can?
I'm gonna go into the dream stuff because I know that you are gonna kind of run long.
Probably, yeah. So go ahead.
So, here's a bonus question: why do we dream? So again, science doesn't really know how we dream. This is just my big theory on it. So pretty much, you know how when you close your eyes really tightly or like put pressure on your eyes when they're closed, you see static, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, when a TV is on a channel and not receiving any signal, you also see static. So the reason why it happens on a TV is because when a input is not receiving a signal, the TV naturally shows the black and white spots are a representation of the electricity going on inside the television. And so in the same way, when you close your eyes or put pressure on them when they're closed, you see static because after a while of not having any input into your brain says, hey, this brain needs stimulation. And so while it doesn't have stimulation, it's going to show you static. It's going to show you the electricity, a representation of the electricity that's going on in your brain. And as you know, your eyes work exactly like pretty similar to cameras. So that is pretty much the first stage. The second kind of stage, or what I talk about, is like actual dreams, REM sleep. So REM is rapid eye movement, where your eyes are moving around very quickly while you are sleeping, and it is your deepest time of sleep, and it is when you're dreaming. And my theory is that you dream because your brain needs stimulation, because your brain says, hey, if this brain does not have stimulation, then it can cause like you to go brain dead, or the dangers of extreme boredom. And so everybody dreams every night, whether or not you remember your dreams. And that is simply because your brain needs stimulation in order to not go brain dead. And so what your dreams are, in essence, hallucinations that are put together from your personal experiences, or they are stories put together, just weaved by your brain in order to keep you stimulated and thinking and processing things. And so dreams are hallucinations, and is in essence what I'm saying. We dream because the brain hallucinates to not die of boredom.
I think dreams are definitely hallucinations. I don't think that we do them to not die of boredom, because otherwise, how would like a monk meditate for a week straight and not die of boredom or hallucinate? They do, I guess, sometimes hallucinate, but that's not normally the intended goal. So I don't know if it's that entirely. This is another category that we don't really have definitive answers for.
Yeah. You make a great point about a monk. Although we never really know what a monk is thinking about or if a monk is conscious during all of their meditating.
Yeah, but you can talk to the. I mean, I guess it's open to interpretation, but there's definitely monks who will describe their experiences and if and what because it's also supposed to like you're gonna think thoughts, but it's not necessarily. I can't tell you if they clear their minds or not, but it's not. I don't know if that's even always the intended goal, as much as just removing the attachment from the thoughts, so
Mhm.
that they can pass through without attachment. I used that word twice now, but removing the attachment so they can flow freely.
Eh, it's okay. I used stimulation like 5 times. We
Yeah,
should have a counter. People should start drinking whenever I say stimulation or whenever you say attachment.
that's dangerous.
That's dangerous. Hey,
So
it
yeah,
would be great stimulation.
mhm. I would be very much a depressant, is what it would be. It would cause sloth uh, at that level of intoxication.
Right? It would be a reactive attachment.
But yeah, no, I don't know if it's that. Dreams is a whole nother thing. It is it's a hallucination, but it's a weird hallucination because if you can hallucinate a world that's convincing enough that you can exist in it without questioning it, then how do you remove that barrier from this experience?
I'm sorry. I just got spoiled for the next chapter of One Piece from a notification. Can you say what you just said?
Yes, I said it's kind of confusing, or abridged version of what I said is I was just basically saying that like if within a dream you can hallucinate a world that's so convincing that you believe it without question, how do you separate that from this experience?
Um, I kind of, I mean, I have spent a lot of time in my life, and especially in my early 20s, like between 20 and 23, uh, looking into lucid dreaming. And I can't really lucid dream, especially because if I ever realize I'm in a dream, I immediately just want to wake up. Uh, um,
I've done it a couple times, but I'm not like a good practitioner of it.
but that's just
it's
me. And
alright. Like,
by studying lucid dreaming, I have figured out ways to like tell the difference between dreaming and being awake. One of which is if you can't remember how you got to the place you were, it is likely that you're dreaming.
Right. Okay, but what I'm saying isn't necessarily that like I was just saying too the dream hallucination has key aspects that you can regard.
Mm-hmm.
But if this were a hallucination and that was just a hallucination within a hallucination and it had key separators, wouldn't it still like it could still function in that regard? That hallucination has notes that you can tell it from, but this one does not, or at least you don't try.
Yeah.
I'm just opening up doors here that don't have answers or aren't even necessarily worth exploring for practical reasons, but they're still fun to open.
All I know is if I go pee and I don't wet my bed, I'm in reality.
Right, correct. But then people use simulate. They sit there and talk about simulation theory. Could you not
True.
just regard, instead of this being a simulation, it as a dream? They're both practically the same container, just two different, slightly different variations. One's a computer, one's a mind.
That is true, and I mean, there is credence to that thought or that theory, um, because when AI creates an image that you've asked it to, it pretty much does exactly the same thing as your brain is doing when creating a dream. It's pulling from
It's
it's
doing
pulling from a
things
bunch of
that are
different sources that already exist.
right, correct. But I can't say that its mechanism is it's the same idea, but probably mechanically different.
Mechanically different, yeah, but I mean the same
But
the
that's sort of
same
like what I'm saying
process.
with the dream and the but yeah, it's
Yeah.
what if instead of this being a simulation, it was just a dream? It's just another layer to reality that you wake up to, or it's all dreams.
I mean that is true. And I mean that really goes into the theories of like, is reality real? We base reality on our five senses, but can we trust our five senses? Because our five senses might just be being fooled, and we're really just in the middle of a void.
Yeah, but I also think that's that question has always been silly to me. I get what it's grappling with, asking if it's
Yeah,
real, but real is also just an adjective that we use to describe reality. So is real in the sense that that word came after the fact. We coined the word to describe it.
is
But
our
I know
defi-
that's not the there
the
is a
thing is
deeper
our
question
definition
there.
of real a real thing?
What we're asking is, I get what it's saying when you're asking if it's real. You're trying to say, like, is it, but then it just becomes a thing of like, say it's not. What are you going to do tomorrow? Probably the same thing as if it was real. So
Exactly.
maybe it's not a good question, but we've gotten really far
Mhm.
off subject now with me going off on that tangent. So
In the words of Rick Sanchez, don't think about it too hard, Morty. You'll just hurt yourself.
yeah, yeah. I never even talked about what were we first talking about? Sleep.
Why do we
Yeah,
sleep?
yeah, yeah. Were you done with your dreams part?
I was. We have
Okay.
7 minutes left.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't have a massive amount of stuff to say anyways. I was just gonna say, I mean, because we don't know or anything, the only thought that I have just in observation is sleep seems like a natural occurrence in response to the environment here, having a day and night cycle. Everything is kind of cyclical in a sense, from your breath to your heartbeat to day and night, sleep and awake. And so we just develop these cycles in tandem with nature as a natural unfolding of how things go. And I think not only does it make sense in regards to what you said with the whole recovery and that kind of stuff and a mental recovery and giving your mind, but it also just makes sense that, like, in a world that we emerged into, that where it becomes night and day and different things happen, and there's, you know, even if we never had to sleep, there's only so many things you can do, and it becomes more dangerous at night and stuff like that, and depending on where you are and what you do. So I think it is a very natural uh, uh, next step in my mind, just to see sleep as an emergence naturally from the way everything kind of unfolds in this environment. If that
Yeah,
makes any sense.
that does make sense because, like, I suppose it is a thing of like, I'm sure like cavemen very quickly realized, hey, I can't hunt at night because I can't see, and every predator can see me.
Yeah, and okay, so like we even can see good at we can see at night. We can't see good at night. We don't have night vision like predators and stuff.
Yeah.
We can see better. Like most of us nowadays just can't see very well because we use such bright lights that we're very crippled at night. Old people probably could see better at night than us and maybe even hunt and stuff. The problem is everything else hunts at night too,
Mm-hmm.
like the
I
wildcats and the wolves and the bear and all the things that are better than you in just in like a one-on-one situation are out at night, so
yeah.
it makes more sense to not
I heard a joke once. The first caveman to ever get tired probably looked at his friend and went, no, no, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. And then he woke up like a few hours later and he was like, what was that?
right. I don't know though, because like then how do you think that depends on your how you think humans became on this planet? Do you see it in an Adam and Eve regard where they were just suddenly humans and they slept and stuff? Or do you think they evolved into that state? Because if they evolved into that state, they've been sleeping for hundreds of thousands of years in other forms.
True.
But if
I
you're saying that
I
they
kind
just
of
popped up, that would then make sense in that sense. But I guess
yeah,
that's not how I view it.
I kind of go by the idea that creation didn't literally happen in 7 days. It happened over like probably 7 billion years.
Well, good, because if you thought the other way, and we've got 4 minutes left on the podcast, I would have just
Yeah.
had to say, cool, let's move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I
But
disagree, but I have nothing to say because we don't have the time to, but I agree with you. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, just because like there is scientific evidence of evolution, and although I will say something that I did find out the other day, and this is kind of people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, oh, he's like a super Christian and stuff like that. But the other day I was doing some at home worship, and I looked up on my phone. I just wanted to know, and I was like, are new things in nature being made even now? Are like new stars being created? And it was like, yeah, like there's 85 million new species that are discovered every single day, and like there's new stars being like created. They did say like in our galaxy, all the stars that will ever exist probably already exist by now. But I think it's so cool to think about like evolution is still going. Like even today, God is still creating new shit.
Well, and evolution just sort of means change through time. So, and is kind of the nature of time itself. is,
No.
is evolution on a grand scale, like not just Darwinian evolution, but if you look at the evolution of everything, like I just believe, yeah, it's all a natural unfolding,
What makes
you
me
know.
so happy is that we're so focused on like the depressive side of like everything will die, everything's gonna die, and everything's gonna go away. But then we never think about like everything's becoming new as well. There's new things happening every day.
Yeah, we're just like the flowers blooming on the vine of life. We're
Yeah.
gonna come for a season and then disappear, and then the next year there'll be new ones.
Yeah. But damn, I mean they'll be cooler. They'll be more interesting.
Yeah. Also, don't worry so much because if you're a flower on the vine, that means you're not just a flower, you're also the vine.
That is true. That is true. All right. Well, I forgot to say it at the top of the hour, but uh, uh, everything happens for a reason. We're just here asking why. That is all for this week's Great Minds podcast. Next week, we will either be talking about Wrath or Envy. I'm not sure. But we will figure it out. Next week's episode is either it's either going to be on. It might be on Wednesday, it might be on Thursday. I don't know if we want to keep it on Thursdays because that's how it's been. But
we'll see what happens. It's probably going to
yeah.
depend on like what is going on with my work. So
That is true.
I
Well,
think I have next Wednesday off, and I don't have anything going on. Maybe, but I'll no promises. I'll get back to you on that.
well, thank you all for watching and listening. We don't know the ultimate question, but the ultimate answer will, as always, be 42. See you later, YouTube.
Amen.
Amen. Bye-bye.
Bye.